Good morning, namaste. This is Denise, and I am giving you a 60-minute practice, and we're going to be getting started very quickly. So if you need time to warm up a little bit more, or you like to sit and meditate for 5 minutes, set an intention, please do so. You will need a little towel or a pair of socks or a blanket or something for later on in the practice. And I recommend having 2 blocks or 2 sturdy books or something that you can use for balancing. And that's all the equipment that we'll need besides your mat. So let's begin by just taking a couple of deep breaths. We're going to establish our Ujjayi breath, where we have some subtle engagement at the pelvic floor and at the glottis of the throat. I encourage you to inhale as though through that central channel of your body. Take a pause in your breath, and then exhale again. So let's take one more round of that. Inhaling, pausing, and exhaling. Maintain that breath, and we're going to come into table pose. So as you come into table pose, please organize your hands under your shoulders and energize your hands like you're dialing them away from each other. You're going to feel this energization into your arms and your shoulders, stabilizing your shoulder blades on your back. And then knees are under the hips. Please feel free to pad them if you need. Go right ahead and continue that Ujjayi breath as you lift the tail, stretch your belly downward, take your heart forward and lift through the crown of your head. And then exhale, spill the body, breath out of the body, pulling the navel to spine and tucking your chin. Inhale, once again, lifting tail, stretching front body, lifting through crown of head, and then exhale once again. Now please take a couple more breaths in your own good time. We're continuing to use our Ujjayi breath. And I just want to draw your attention to your hands. You'll keep dialing the hands away from each other, energizing your arms and stabilizing your shoulders. Now let's continue with tucking the toes under. Pull your belly into a neutral position, neutralizing your spine. Press down more firmly into your hands, more firmly into your toes, and we'll just lift the knees away from the mat. And just explore what happens in the body as you press down a little more firmly into your hands, a little more firmly into your toes. Can you gather that draw that energy into your belly? Connecting the dots from your hands through your arms and shoulders to the center of your body, drawing the energy from the toes, the legs, the thighs, pelvis into the center of your body. Let's take one more breath like that. Inhale, and we'll exhale, bring the knees down. Let's shift our hips from side to side. You can untuck your toes, and we'll come back to center. Now we'll stretch the right leg out, just planting the foot on its sole, and we'll start to stir the pot. So I want you to let your knee bend and make your circles big or small. Please feel free to explore what is available in your body. Eventually you'll want to scour into the corners a little bit. We're just making the hip a little juicier so that it feels great to move it around. Let's take it in the other direction. And it's up to you how big or small you want to make these circles, but keep a little bit of tone in your belly and energy in your palms. Continue to dial the hands away from each other. And let's come to stillness, pointing back through the tail, stretching forward through the heart, maybe lifting the corners of your mouth and just feeling how good it is to move your body. Inhale, let's come back up, and we'll just take this leg in, sweep it around behind your body and land it on the top surface of your right foot. Start to press down into that foot, lift through your belly here, and now draw your left shoulder toward your left hip. Take a nice big breath, continue your Ujjayi breath, but maybe feel the breath moving into the right rib cage, right side of your waist, and take a nice deep breath. We're kind of sensitizing our lateral fascial lines with this particular posture, and we're going to use those lines a lot for stability in our practice. Let's unsweep that leg now. Reach it straight behind you. Inhale. We'll take a little breathing technique to stimulate our immune system. Please, if you have neck issues, take this one very gently. Inhale, stretch your leg back. Exhale, nose to knee, expelling the breath quickly. Inhale, reach back. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Inhale and exhale are both through the nose. Reach back and pull the belly to spine, pull thigh to belly, and expel. And let's do 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Last one, we'll hold. Stretch your heart forward, toe back, and then rest the knee back down. Let's take a nice big breath in the center. Maybe send the hips back toward the heels. Rest for a moment. Steady and slow the breath. And then we'll come back to table pose. This time we'll sweep the left foot out. Coming sole down. Energizing the foot slightly into the floor. Energizing into your hands like you're dialing them away from each other. Soften the left knee and begin to circle the hip. So you're describing a small circle perhaps at first, and then see if you can make it a little bit bigger, noticing the level of comfort in your hip, and you can work within that. You never have to go to the point of discomfort here. We're just mobilizing and making the hip a little bit juicier. Let's go in the other direction. Again, start to scour into the corners a little bit more if that's available. And let's come to stillness and reach back through the tail and forward through the heart. You don't have to go any lower, just keep pressing into your palms, pressing into your left foot, reaching through the tail. And then we'll come back and sweep the leg behind us, landing it on the top surface, and you actually want to press down a little bit into that top surface of the foot. And then you can start to draw your right shoulder towards your right hip, possibly looking back if you like, and continuing with your Ujjayi breath, maybe feeling it into the left rib cage, left waist, sensitizing or priming our fascia, feeling our side body. And then let's bring the leg back to the center of the mat, reach it straight up and back, and we'll begin our oscillations. I want you to think about this as firing up your immune system. Let's take a deep breath in here and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. You're fueling your inner fire here. Let's take 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reach the leg back. Reach and stretch your heart forward. And exhale. Let's bring the knee down. Tuck the toes. Reach back. Come on, tented fingers. Slow and smooth your breath. Fill your lungs. Beautiful. And then we'll plant the palms, keeping the toes tucked. Let's take the seat up into downward facing dog. And I want to invite you to pedal and move a little bit. I'm going to show you some things I'm doing with my feet here. This is very nutritious for the feet and the toes. So I want to actually bend all my toes. And then I might take them in the other direction. And then really moving around through the ankle and just waking everything up. This is really important. It's going to help us have a really good practice because our body will be sensitized. Let's come into a still downward facing dog and then come forward into upper push-up. And we're going to just practice gathering the energy from the hands into the core and from the feet into the core. With the feet, I'm gripping with my toes, gripping the mat. I'm gripping the mat with my hands too. Let's use a bit more energy than we actually need to here. Again, just to sensitize the body, priming our fascia. Inhale, press up and back. And exhale, come back to upper push-up. We're going to do that a few times to lift the belly and press back. Come forward. Again, make this movement come from the belly. Lift and press back. It's coming from that place where the energy of the lower body meets the energy of the upper body. And this is within our deep front line. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press back. And we'll just do it one more time for good measure. And lift and press back. Very nice. And now take a slow, leisurely walk of feet up to hands and come into a nice deep forward fold. Inhale, half lift, and exhale, return to forward fold. Let's bend the knees as much as we need to wrap the arms around the back of the knees. Keep your feet a little bit apart here. Now I'm pressing down into my feet. My great toes are pointing straight ahead. I'm going to energize like I'm dialing my feet and knees away from each other, dialing my knees away from each other, letting the outer knee press into my upper arm.
So, it might not look pretty, but we're doing something important here. I'm sensitizing and priming these lateral lines of my body, which are my main stabilizing lines. Let's take one more breath. Exhale the breath, release your arms and press down into your feet to come all the way up to standing. And before we begin sun salutations now, we'll take another immune boosting pranayama practice. So we'll have our feet a little bit apart. We'll be bending and straightening knees and hips, but we want to make sure we're not doing that with knees together. We want to make sure knees stay apart. Okay, and then we'll stretch the arms out. You may need a tissue after this one. Let's take a big breath in and exhale, thump the chest and look to the right. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And I'm not going to thump my chest very hard because that would hit the mic and really not sound very good to you guys. So I want you to firmly thump your chest. This is stimulating for the thymus gland where your T cells are matured, which are very important to your nervous system. Beautiful. Let's keep that going for a bit longer. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. You can go faster or slower as your body requires. Inhale and exhale. Let's just take 3 and 2 and 1. Inhale, reach your arms out. Your heart rate might be going a little faster now. It's okay. Take it nice and slow. And exhale, take it down. Slow your breath. Again, inhale. Maybe we'll reach up. And exhale. Now your body's awake. Your immune system's fired up. Inhale one more time. And exhale. Please take another round if you need. But we're going to come into Tadasana and prepare for sun salutations now. Sun salutations were requested, so I want to include them. And they're always a great sort of wake up tool, if you like, any time of the day, actually. So great toes point straight ahead, heels are a little wider, and it's up to you if you want to have your feet together or apart, as you wish. As you energize down into your feet, I want you to make it so that it almost feels like you want to dial the feet away from each other. You have the legs fired up with that external rotation energy that's coming from the hips, really. So all the way from the feet to the hips, you feel like you're dialing that energy outward. This is going to bring tone into the thighs. It actually fires up your lateral lines again and your spiral lines, which stabilize hips, knee, and arch of the foot. So if we have that energization, then we can begin. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, dive your body forward and down. Inhale, let's take a half lift. This is a very important position, so we'll take an extra breath here. Reaching back through the tail, continuing to energize like you're dialing the feet and knees away from each other as you stretch your heart forward with the chin slightly tucked. Not this much, and we certainly don't want to reach the head forward like this. Reach through the crown of the head. Exhale, folding forward, palms to the mat, and we'll step our feet back to upper push-up position. You're always welcome to bring the knees down if that's better for you today. It unloads the shoulder a little bit, so it makes everything we're doing a little bit more manageable. Energize like you're dialing the hands away from each other. Use your toes like we did earlier. Press your heart out over your hands, and then bring knees down, dial hands away from each other as you lower the chest. Root down into the top surfaces of your feet, root down through your pubic bone, lift the heart, and exhale down. Let's do 2 more like that. Inhale, dialing hands away from each other to organize and activate the shoulders, and come down. And one more time, inhale. And lift the corners of your mouth here, one more little moment, and exhale. Very good. Tuck the toes, press back through the knees, dial hands away from each other as you rise. Downward facing dog. And I always like to add lunges in my sun salutation. So here we go with the right foot stepping forward. Allow your left knee to come down. Sink your right foot and tug it back towards your body. Again, I do this to prime the fascia. Now we want to start feeling into the deep front line and the superficial front line. So draw both legs together. Drive them into the pelvis, engaging through pelvic floor and lower belly. And then if it feels good in your body, raise the hands. So lifting the hands, raising the hands, opening the arms is a very uplifting position for your body. Your interoceptors interpret that as a happy, joyful experience. So this is actually really communicating with our nervous system, and that's important for us right now. Let's inhale and raise the arms up. And again, it's important to smile or soften your face at least, and then we'll bring the hands down. Inhale, lift the back knee, tone the belly, press into your back toes, and step your foot back. Dial hands away from each other as you lower Chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart, and exhale, lift through the belly, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps through. Allow the right knee to come down. And once again, we think about our foundation first, grounding down into the feet and drawing both legs into the pelvis. Gather the energy through pelvic floor and lower belly as you lift the arms up. We're sensitizing and priming our deep front line as we do this. So we're actually feeling this through the adductors, through pelvic floor, lower belly, carrying that energy up the center of the body toward the crown of the head. Reaching up and leaning back ever so slightly as you pull the legs in, and we'll exhale, take the hands down. Inhale, lift the back knee. Once again, you're pressing into the toes. Exhale, step your foot back down, hands away from each other. Remember, you can always bring your knees down, Chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. And now you can take a few breaths in downward facing dog. Ujjayi breathing is a good place to check in with your Ujjayi breath. Notice if it has become a little bit off track or a little rushed. Slow the breath. Give it time for that exchange that has to happen in the lungs. Okay, this is making your breath more efficient as you slow it down and let it deepen. All right, let's take one more full round of Ujjayi breath. Both inhale and exhale, and then you'll look between your hands. Take a walk, step, or little hop to the front of your mat, lengthening your spine as you arrive here. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, press down into your feet, send your heart forward, and let's come up. And exhale, hands come to Namaskar Mudra. Let's begin again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive your body forward and down. Inhale, take a half lift, lengthen. Exhale, palms to the mat, step or hop, back up or push up, gaze forward as you lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart, dialing my hands away from each other, lifting through the belly, downward facing dog. Inhale, let's take the right foot forward, and we'll keep a shorter stance this time. Press down into your right foot and bring your body up. Once again, we want to feel into our foundation, but this time we'll straighten both legs as we reach the arms up. And as we exhale, we'll bend this left knee and just touch briefly. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, push the floor away from you, and exhale down. Again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, touch down. Inhale and reach. Exhale and touch down. Inhale, deepen your breath. Exhale, expel the breath. Inhale, one more time. And exhale, let's hover just above the mat. Maybe we'll reach the hands up and just feel this big yay in the body. One more breath here. And then the hands can come down. Step the foot back, dial hands away from each other, knees down if you like. Chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot comes through. Push down into your left foot to bring your body up. Gives you lots of lift, doesn't it? Let's bend the back knee and prepare. We're pressing into both feet as we reach the arms up, and we just want to touch down. If you found that your stance is too long, just make it a little bit shorter. Touch down and lift, pushing the floor away from you. Touch down and lift. Full, deep, slow Ujjayi breath. No need to rush here. If you want, you could pause the video, do a whole bunch more. It's your practice. Make sure you're going where you need to go. So now we're going to just hover above the mat, reach the arms up. Again, feel this yay in your body. Even if it's not really what you're feeling, we put our body in the position, and it actually can help us change the way we feel. One more breath here, and take the hands down. Inhale, step your foot back, dial hands away from each other as you lower. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. And once again, take a few breaths in downward facing dog, 2 or 3 or up to 5 breaths, of course. And here's where we're really checking in. So we've been doing quite a lot of vigorous movement so far, and hopefully that has really fired up your breath, fired up your circulatory system. This is all so nourishing and good. And this is partly how we support our immune system, by getting the fluids moving in the body so that there can be this exchange between the cells and the oxygen we're taking in, and this is how the body supports itself. So let's get everything moving, everything flowing, and that's how we're going to keep ourselves healthy. Let's prepare to come forward now. Looking between the hands, walk, step, or hop to the front of your mat. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, folding forward. Press down into your feet, send your heart forward. Let's come all the way up. Reach through your fingers and exhale, Namaskar Mudra. Let's take one more round. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, diving forward and down, feeling so good. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, palms to the mat. Step or hop back up or push up. Gaze forward, lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press back. Inhale, let's step the right foot forward. Press straight down into your right foot. And I think I'll give you a side view this time. So as I'm pressing straight down into my right foot, see if you notice this in your body. If you push down really firmly there, do you derive additional energy into the core of the body? And then if you push into your great toe here, again, this is a deep front lying thing. I'll feel the inseam of my legs a bit more, the core of my body a bit more, and then I can use that energy to reach my hands forward. If that just doesn't feel supportable in your body, you can keep your fingers down or just take one hand forward. But let's take one more breath here. Press, press, press. And then we'll exhale and bring the hands down, stepping the foot back. Remember to tone the belly. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the heart. Lift the belly, lift the belly, lift the belly. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot comes through. And staying right here, pressing straight down into left foot. Pressing into the right great toes this time, really pressing down. And as you start to push down here, you're going to get energy in your body, and you can reach the hands forward. Spreading fingers wide, pushing down more. One more breath, and then we'll take the hands down. Step your foot back, tone the belly, dial hands away from each other. Inhale, lift, and exhale. Downward facing dog. Whew. So hopefully your breath is much deeper. It may become a little bit rushed. So that's when you want to just make it slow, keep it deep. It's going to be very, very nourishing for you. Let's have one more breath in downward facing dog. Press into your palms, dial hands away from each other. Make sure you're stabilizing your shoulders that way. And then when you're ready, you can look between the hands, walk, step, or hop to the front of your mat. Lengthen your spine here. And exhale, folding forward. Press down into your feet. Let's come all the way up. Reach through your fingers. And exhale, Namaskar Mudra. One extra breath here. So now, if you have your blocks handy, or books handy, or whatever it is that you're going to use, I suggest you put them at the front of the mat. We're going to take our feet back just slightly here. Inhale, take your arms up, and exhale, let's come down. Inhale, let's come up to half lift and put your hands on the blocks. Now, totally up to you if you want to have your hands on this level, this level, this level, or maybe you want to have your hands on the floor. Okay, but I'm going to show this level. Please stand on your left foot and take your right leg up. Energize down into your left foot like you're dialing this foot and thigh and knee away, like you're externally rotating. This is going to give you much more stability through your hip. Now this lifted leg needs to spin in and down, okay? And that's exactly how we're going to keep stable. Now I want to invite you to bend and straighten your standing leg so that you can acquaint yourself with all of the muscular support around the knee. Let's come to just about straight. Press your foot into the floor and see about coming up a little bit higher. Maybe some of you are ready now to take your hands to your hips or out to the side or even forward. If you're reaching hands forward, you really want to drive your foot back. One more deep breath here. And then we'll bring the hands back to the block and we'll step the foot down. Let's come all the way up. Reach through your fingers. Lean back if you're able. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, let's come up and put hands on the blocks. Stand on your right foot, left leg goes up. We're taking some time here, dialing this leg out, spinning the left leg in and down. Bend and straighten a few times and make sure that as you bend and straighten, your knee tracks forward rather than inward. This is very important. This is why we're emphasizing this dialing outward. Heel stays grounded. We're not spinning it in. We're keeping the toe pointing straight ahead, heel a little wider. And then let's come to just a little bit of a bend. Press more firmly into your standing leg. Stretch your heart forward, fire up your back leg, and then maybe you're taking your hands to your hips, reaching back, side, or forward. So those are our options. And press through the toes, through the crown. Arms to the sides, or arms straight forward. I'm losing my balance, but this is all part of how the body learns. One more breath here. Ooh, and we'll take the hands down. Press down into both feet. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, hands come to your hips. So now we'll start from the top down and begin on the left foot again. So standing on your left foot, toe back with the right. Let's maintain our hands to our hips, but you also have the alternative of bringing hands to the head, if you like. Some of you have practiced with me and you may want to do it that way. So dial this leg out like we were practicing just a moment ago. And now stretch your heart forward. Feeling your hips. So you want to feel for the levelness of your hips. And the way we level our hips is by dialing this standing leg out and dialing the upper leg in. Press. One more breath here. And let's slowly bring it up. These are such great prep poses for almost all other standing balancing poses. Standing on the right leg now, just toe back with your left. Take a moment to start organizing, dialing this leg out, dialing this leg in. And then when you feel ready, after you have established your foot to core, which is what we've been doing, then you can tip forward. Are you starting to notice how important this foot to core, hand to core connection really is? Pulling the whole body into a unified whole. Let's begin to tip the body back up and we'll come to standing. All right, so once again, we'll inhale, reach up, exhale all the way down, taking a forward fold just for a moment. So I want to invite you to catch your great toes, separate your feet a little bit, inhale, stretch your heart forward, and exhale, fold. So this is not about, stretching really. It's actually about relieving the back body. But if that is just too low for you, you can always put hands on hips and be right here. However, it is also fine to catch your great toes and let your knees bend a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. So if that's where you're at, please explore right there. Alternatives are to pull on the great toes a little bit, drawing your shoulders away from your ears. Other thing you can do here is start to push into your feet and just see if the sitting bones want to rise up a little bit. Let's just settle into one or two more nice, slow Ujjayi breath. And then there's no rush, but you can release your fingers. Slowly bring your body up, pressing the floor away from you. And we'll take one more balancing pose now. So let's organize the blocks at the front of the mat. Once again, you can choose what level you want to practice, Ardha Chandrasana. So once again, we're stepping our feet back from the blocks a little bit. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, dive your body forward and down. Inhale, let's bring the left hand to the block and the right hand to the hip. Standing on left leg, lift right leg up. Now previously we were spinning this leg in and down to level the hips, but now we're stacking the hips right above the left if possible. Press down into your floor leg, press up into your right leg, into that lateral line we've been sensitizing, and then possibly reach up. And this upper arm, you want to really reach up, as though you're reaching for a hand that's reaching down to grasp yours. Keep pressing the floor away from you with your standing leg, and there's very little weight on the hand. Let's have one more breath here, and then you can take the hand back down and allow the foot to follow. Let's stand all the way up. Once again, just changing position to relieve the body. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, hands to the block. We'll put the right hand on the block, left hand to the left hip, taking the left leg up. So rotating open so that we can stack the left above the right, and we're really lifting this leg up. This is going to help you. It's going to help you actually stabilize your posture. From there, you can decide to lift the hand. Of course, it's always fine to keep it down. And if we lift the hand, we actually want to reach with it. Reach with it, reaching with the leg too. Push the floor away from you. Let's open and expand and just feel our strength growing. One more breath here. And hand will return to the block, foot will return to the mat. Let's just move the blocks to the side and we'll take a little vinyasa. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, dive your body forward and down. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step or hop back up or push up, gaze forward, lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look between your hands and hop your feet toward the front of your mat. Lifting the heels, spreading the toes, and coming into toe stand. So now let's bring hands to the chest. If you want, if you're new to this posture, you can always use a block or a block on either side of you, because we eventually want to bring the shoulders over the hips. And we also want to push out of our bottom a little bit. So just something to keep in mind. If you have the balance for the pose, good for you, but you're pressing down into your feet so that you're rising out of it a little bit and staying very active in your muscles, supporting the joints. Pressing into toes, lifting the arch, lifting the heart, showing some teeth possibly. Let's take one more breath here, okay? And then we'll have some fun. So I'm gonna move these blocks out of my way just a little bit, and I'm just gonna take my hands to the side of my mat. I'm gonna have my hands like I want to dial them away from each other again. I'm going to have my forearms, my elbows a little closer together than they would be for downward facing dog. Planting the palms, bending both elbows so that I can create a shelf for my femur bone of my leg. And then I'm just going to tip my body over, letting my feet come up. And then if I have a little more experience, I might decide to reach out with my right leg, reach up and back with my left leg. And I'm just hanging out. If you're newer to the pose, simply leaning into the pose for a few breaths is very strengthening. Remember to press your palms firmly down. So wherever you've been practicing, let's come back and find the center of the mat once again. And come back to our toe stand, where again, we're livening up the body, rising out of our bottom slightly. Once again, I'm going to move these blocks out of my way and then bring the hands to the side. Hands are fairly close together. Elbows, again, we need that dialing toward each other energy so that the hands are dialing away from each other, but the elbows come together as a result. Putting the femur bone on the shelf here, and then lifting the toes. Remember, you can experiment with stretching out the legs if you have a bit more experience, or just for fun. It's always fun to experiment. If you're newer, remember, simply finding your center of gravity and holding this position is actually very beneficial. Good preparation. Let's all come back now. And we'll do another fun little drill. I think it's fun. Planting the palms, and I'm on my toes, and I want to remind my body that my toes, arches, and the calf muscles are springs. They're actually springs. So I want to plant my palms, press down into the springs of my body, and hop my feet back. And then I want to spring forward again. And then I'm going to spring back. And then I'm going to spring forward again. Notice I'm preloading with a little bend, see? Little bend, little bend. Let's do about 5 of those. We've already done a few, so we'll do one more. And we'll come back to the front of the mat and hold. Once again. Now, we're breathing a little bit faster. We're a little bit tired. Can we hold our position? Let's see. Full deep breaths here. And what we've also done is really warmed up the legs a lot. So now let's grab our blocks again. And stand up. Walk your blocks back so that they're about at the middle of your mat. And then we'll bring the right foot through. You can let your left knee come down. Let's just take the blocks so they're approximately at the level of your hips. But we're going to be moving them around, so we're not rooting them down at all. So let's shift our hips forward, and then we're going to shift them back and forth a few times. Hey, if you want to do this with your fingertips on the mat, no problem. No problem at all. So coming forward and back a few times. We're moving into Hanumanasana, which was also requested. So here is my suggestion. So for Hanumanasana, I want to suggest you press the palms into the blocks, gather the energy into the belly, and then see about bringing this foot forward, possibly lifting the heel. Okay, so I know that's a lot of work, but Hanumanasana is a lot of work. So all the preparation on the way there is very important. So now let's lift the back knee and do that a few times. Lifting and pressing into the toes like we've been doing, touching it down, lifting and reaching it back. I'll give you a side view of that. So what I'm doing with my back leg is touching down and straightening, touching and straightening. And what we did before was just coming forward and back. And now it might work better for you to be oriented this way on your mat just because your feet will slide a little bit better. But you might decide to bring your foot forward, and this might be where you rest. Feel free to put a block under your sitting bone, right under the bone itself, so that you can be supported here. And then, of course, we're pressing down into the heels. I don't want to lock my knee back. I want to keep it extended, but not locked. And then pressing down into my toes. Hanumanasana should be treated as a strength position, a range of control position. So this is why I really advocate for staying super active within it. Okay, so when you feel somewhat complete with that, you can step back and we'll take the other foot through. And let's noodle around a little bit. So we're coming forward and back. You can do this with hands on the mat if that suits you better. And then we'll lift and lower. Pressing and pressing, keeping our muscles super active. And then we might see about wiggling the foot forward. Once again, possibly bringing the block under the sitting bone at whatever level is going to suit you and wherever you're at in your practice. Once you are all the way down, you want to dial this leg outward, dial this back leg inward, and see about bringing the opposite hip forward. And keep energizing the legs here. Lots and lots of energy, even as though you could rise out of this posture to some degree. Then when you start to feel like you're about complete with that, once again, press into the palms and step your foot back. And let's bring the knees down, move the blocks to the side, plant the palms, and downward facing dog. Pedaling that out for a few moments. So if you are very challenged in that posture, remember that a lot of movement prior to is very helpful, and staying strong throughout. You can never go passive in Hanumanasana. You have to develop range of control with muscle activation. Okay, so if you've had a fairly decent break, let's come out of downward facing dog. Just hop your feet through. And I'm going to turn my body sideways for our next posture. So you can be the normal way on your mat, but you're going to want to be at the edge of your mat. And now here's where I suggest a pair of socks or a towel, something that slides, that will enable you to slide on whatever surface you're going to be on. So I'm going to use this towel. And excuse me while I take the mic out of my pants and just put it over here to the side. Okay, so this is one of my favorite postures for building range of control in the back body, especially the lower half of the back body. So we're basically setting up for a little bridge pose. You do not have to have your heels in so close to your seat that you can touch them. Some people can because they have longer arms relative to their spine. So just plant your palms, great toes straight ahead, heels a little wider, and then lift the seat. You want to tuck your shoulder blades under your body, and now press firmly down into your feet so that you can feel the activity on the back body. Feeling your glutes are fired up, your hamstrings, even your calves. And now with the upper body very stable and strong, even pressing down into your hands and arms and shoulders, start to slide the heels out. Pausing with the knees straight, you can see my seat is lifted, and then I'm going to put my seat down and pull my heels back in. Then I come up, and then I'm going to slowly slide out, pause, put my seat down, and come back in. And again, lift, press into feet, really press down, and then start to slide out till the knees are straight, press, press, press. Seat comes down and bring it in. One more time. And of course, if you want, you can do a whole bunch more. Just pause the video and we'll bring it down and slide it in. So now let's roll ourselves up. Keep the heels on the blanket or your socks on or whatever you're doing, and we're gonna slide out. So arms under the body, sliding forward and then pulling back. Sliding forward and pulling back. Let's do two more. And pull it back. And one more, slide forward, and let's stay right here. So you can keep your arms under your legs and try this with me. You'll notice that you get quite a lot of hip flexion with the arms under the legs like this. If that doesn't work in your body, this is also fine, no problem. But if you can be here, see if you can lift your heels right up. I'm gonna move that so you can see what I'm doing. Heels come right up, press, press, press. Super active in the front of the legs. And let's bring it down. Just allow the body to relax for a moment. And then slowly bring your body up, relaxing the shoulders. Very nice. Now, let's keep the right leg forward as you bring the left leg in. Grounding down, straight down into your right heel. Inhale, reach the arms up. So again, let's practice in a very active way. Pressing down into the heel, pressing into your foot. The whole legs are hugging down. Inhale and exhale, stretch your heart forward, press into your legs and bring your body up. Remember that sensation of energy from the legs coming into the belly, energy from the upper body coming into the belly. Once again, forward and press it back up. And again, forward and press it back up. And we'll do one more time, forward and reaching it up. Good, this time when we come forward, will remain forward for a couple of breaths. Press down into your right heel and energize this whole leg like you could pull it into the pelvis. Think about pulling the head of the femur deeper into its socket. Keep stretching the heart forward. Hold. One more breath here. And let's soften. And then slowly bring the body back and we'll change sides. So now the left leg comes forward. Remember, first of all, we're pressing down into the heel, hugging the leg into the floor, pressing down with this leg. Energize and exhale, just part way. Find your edge. That is your range of control that we're finding. Right there, I have control and I'm gonna push up out of it. Exhale, hold, pause, and inhale. Again, exhale, hold, and pause. If you really need, you can give yourself a little bit of help with your hands. Always, it's always fine to modify. We wanna work where we have control. And then we build the practice on top of that. Let's come forward. And for a few breaths now, we're staying active still. Press down into the heel and energize like you could plug this leg a little bit deeper into the socket. Use the energy in your own body, the muscles in your own body to pull the leg in. Keep stretching the heart forward. Pause right here. And then exhale. And you can just let go and soften. And so the softening is not even really an intentional stretch. You're just softening into the space you've created, into the opening that you've created. You could think of it that way. So let's just enjoy that for one more breath. And then we'll ease on out of that posture. Bringing your legs together in the front, let's just step the feet down for a moment here and just windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Keeping the feet quite wide apart. And then we'll let the legs go over to the left and bring your body up and then just take a little twist. When you're twisting, it's good to turn your eyes as far as you can in the direction that you're twisting, okay? And let's just ease out of that gently and turn the feet to the other direction. Turn the knees and turn the whole body. Start to look over the shoulder. You're kind of rolling your hip forward a little bit. Again, just wiggle into the space that is there. And let's come out. Very nice. Let's plant the feet. Lean back slightly. Gather through the belly and the pelvic floor. So here's what I want to suggest. With your feet down, energize the inseams of your legs. You know, again, it's kind of like you're trying to pull your legs into your body. So just do that. See if that helps you fire up your pelvic floor. Hold that pelvic floor engagement and then lift the feet. Keep gathering. There's a direct connection between pelvic floor and lower belly. So you want those two to feel like they're moving toward each other. And then you can have hands behind your knees or hands can be to the sides like this. And keep lifting your heart up, drawing your shoulders back. Maybe if you lift your gaze, this will help you. Your body will want to follow that gaze. And keep the breath lifting. The breath is kind of buoying you up in this little boat pose. One more breath here. And then let's bring the feet down. Let's take a nice inhale. Exhale. And one more time. So this time I'll give you the option of perhaps catching your great toes and lifting the feet up. If you are doing that, you're going to push your toes into your fingers really firmly. Use this connection here to draw your shoulders back and keep lifting up through the heart. Now, if that's just not available in your body, here is a great place to continue working, drawing your shoulders back, lifting the heart. We can really accomplish the same things. So keep pressing here, lifting the heart. And wherever you are, let's see if we can continue and let go. If you're here, you can let go. This is just for one more minute. One more breath here. And let's bring it down. Very good. Let's stretch the legs out and just shake it out. Beautiful. And then you're going to just stay straight on your mat, roll down onto your back. But I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm up to. So on our backs now, we'll bring the knees into the chest and just rock from side to side for a little moment. So I'm going to give you some options. Stepping your feet down, you'll do a little bridge pose perhaps. If you are preparing to one day do full wheel pose, this is kind of a very important first step to build the strength right here. Build your foot position, which is great, toes straight ahead, heels a little bit wider, rather than letting the feet turn out. So you can start strengthening the lower half of your back body. Then you can start strengthening the upper half a little bit by pressing down into the palms and seeing about lifting that space between your shoulder blades away from the mat, maybe even up to the head slightly, pressing into the palms. From there, you'll press into the palms and have your head on the mat. But we want this pressing down is what's very, very important. So wherever you are in that process, please take one more breath. And then when you're complete with that, you can bring the body down and just lie flat for a moment. So because this is another posture that was requested, I'm going to show you another potential variation that I think is really important. And that means that you'll have to bring blocks to the wall. So taking this position with blocks to the wall, and I hope you can see what I'm doing to some degree, you're going to put your head between the blocks, hands on the blocks. So what this does is it unloads the shoulders a little bit, and the shoulders can be, take them a long time to catch up with their strength. So if you unload them a little bit, you can start getting into the shape and working on the shape and learning, having your proprioceptors learn how to get you in the shape without overloading the shoulders. So I highly, highly recommend this to work on this for actually a few months before you do full wheel pose. So hands would go onto the blocks, make sure they're nice and secure against the baseboards. Feet are in position, we're not letting this happen, toes straight ahead. And then you'll work on lifting the lower body. Work on pressing into the hands, lifting the upper body a little bit. Come to the head, press into your hands, and then eventually push yourself away from the blocks, pressing into the blocks. But this does take quite a lot of time, and you want to do it safely, building the strength you need to sustain that pose and without irritating the shoulders. Okay, so spend another breath or two in whichever version of the posture you've decided to take. And then let's come down and stretch your legs out in front of you. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, just taking a nice, easy forward fold. Full breath in, full breath out. This time as we come up, we'll bring the right leg in and step the foot across. Wrapping the right leg with the left arm. Let's inhale, right arm reaches out and back, and then we start to look back. Looking over the shoulder, continue to reach with your right arm, and then let the fingers come down to tent. So something like this. And if you find that in this posture, your pelvis really wants to spill back so that the posture ends up looking like this, it's important to get something under the sitting bones. This might be a bit too much, but what we want to have happen is the pelvis is fairly upright, okay? And the reason for that is when your pelvis spills back too much, you start to torque into your SI joints and the lower spine. So if we're upright, there's more room to rotate smoothly through those vertebrae. So when we're here, we're looking, bringing the eyes all the way over. Again, you can challenge your vestibular system by having your head this way and your eyes that way. If you can see what I'm doing, it looks a little crazy maybe. But this is important, and taking the eyes back and forth a few times is actually very good for you. So now let's unwind from the pose. Shake the leg out, and we'll take the other side. Sitting up nice and tall, wrapping the right arm around left leg. Inhale, look back, and then bring your fingers to tent. We're staying very upright, and we want to feel this twist through the upper back, ideally. If you're feeling it at the back of the pelvis, then I would recommend just letting your hip go back a little bit so that the twist is in the upper back, or if the problem might be solved by sitting on something to lift you up a little bit. Okay, please take care, because this is such a nourishing posture if it's done with your pelvis properly supported. Inhale, let's look forward. And exhale, unwind, straighten the leg. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward. Inhale, let's come back and stretch the legs out. Once again, inhale up, exhale, forward. Inhale, come up, exhale, forward. This is going to be really confusing for the nervous system, very good for the nervous system. Inhale up and exhale forward. So it prevents us from sinking and taxing and over stretching our tissues, but we're still working on our range of control. And let's do one more time. Last time out. Last time forward. And then one smooth move, inhale and exhale down to the mat. This time we'll bring the knees into the chest, and I'm just shifting so that you can see what I'm doing. Arms will reach out, and we'll just take a beautiful lying twist, letting the knees fall over to the left side of the body first. Possibly looking in the opposite direction. So if your knees are left, you'll look right. And I'll just come up to talk you through that. Make sure you're letting your right shoulder blade drop toward the mat, and even actively reaching with your knees toward the left. Take a deep, deep, full breath. Pause in your breath for a moment, and then completely let go. Just let everything go. All of your muscle activity, all of the breath. One more very soft breath. And then, once again, you're going to gather through the belly first, bring the knees to center, and then let the knees fall over to the right side. Let the feet and knees fall as much as they will, and then you'll just sort of actively reach them toward the right side. While you actively reach your left shoulder blade and shoulder and arm into the mat. Looking toward the left as well is very nice. That way your whole spine is in the same spiral direction. Now let's take a really big breath, expand, hold the breath for a moment, and then let everything go. Let the breath go, let the muscle activity go. And then one soft, full breath. At the bottom of that breath, gather the belly. Let's come back to center. Bring the knees into the body, squeeze and hug the body with sincere appreciation. And then allow your body to open up like a lotus flower into Shavasana posture. And gather up anything that you need to make Shavasana very comfortable for you. You might want to just rest in Shavasana as much as you want, or you might want to set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes. But I will leave you now to your Shavasana. And I want to just encourage you that over the next few breaths, you just continue to soften the body, just really let go of all your cares. Know that you have resourced your body with breath, with vibration, and just gotten your joints all lubricated and your immune system revved up, your lymphatic system. So your body is so busy now, cleansing itself, rebuilding tissue, and this is what you are designed to do. You are strong, you are capable, and you can weather any storm. Namaste, blessings, and I'll see you next time.